Christmas time is almost right around the corner, and for that matter, not only are we getting a bizarre amount of new updates for already big games, but also a decent batch of new games. Hello friends, it's Mobile, and here are 20 fresh new games to pick up on the mobile stores while it's hot.
A famous explorer once said that the extraordinary is in what we do.
Alright, number one, just a pretty quick little honorable mention because this game is still in the making, but for those of you who missed it, the 2013 Tomb Raider reboot is actually heading to mobile. In fact, we've had so many new announcements that Feral Interactive wasn't even in our radar, which is, by the way, the team that's handling the mobile port. I don't know, if this just feels as cinematic as the original, could be legendary. Until February, keep in mind that all 12 DLCs are included, weapon upgrades, crafting, and tomb challenges, full console experience just shrunk down to mobile. Touch controls, controllers, and gyro aiming are in as well, so keep it in mind. Alright, here's technically the number one. Schoolboy is back with another one, and this time is actually running away from his even own shadow. You know, teachers, bullies, even the janitor, creeping through the classrooms, principal's office, and just poking around folks on the desk just to survive. The game is equal parts stealth, logic, and how do they even get that out of the supply closet moments. There's humor basically all around. Hidden objects, puzzles, a ton of them, and multiple ways to escape. Escape from School here is a free game, offline about 300 megabytes in total, and it just received a developer's patch, now legit console tier goodness. Well, it did take a couple years, but the Exit 8 finally landed on both mobile platforms just recently. And for those of you who even don't know what this is, it's a Japanese, escape sim that's already sold over 3 million copies. So good that, they actually made a film adaptation out of it. Look, if you're a big fan of hidden object games, you will love it. It's a relatively short anomaly game, to be precise, and the mobile version is actually just a little tiny bit downgraded in visuals to work on lower end devices. Basically, it's part psychological thriller, part supernatural puzzle, and it's just entirely focused on atmosphere. We've had quarantine mobile games before, we will definitely have more later, but we actually managed to find one that stands out from the rest. An exclusive Android port though, but this one's right up there in quality with the PC version. So look, if you had the chance to play Papers, Please game before and thought, well, this needs zombies and worse consequences and stuff, this is it. It's just basically that with more challenge. You stand at a checkpoint all day judging people who swear they're fine while your cam slowly runs out of food and patience. Most of the game here is just staring at faces, checking temperatures, listening to lungs, and wondering if you're about to doom everybody by being nice. Combat exists, it's not the point of it, it's also offline. If you've ever installed a mobile first-person shooter, played a couple matches and then deleted it in total disappointment, this might just be the apology letter to all of those. Crossfire Legends actually understands what makes them shooters fun. Clean gunplay, reliable maps, matches that don't overstay their welcome, bunch of modes to stick around, controls are responsive instead of floaty, progression doesn't drown you in nonsense, and it works. It's competitive without being exhausting, familiar without feeling lazy, and finally proves mobile first-person shooting could respect your time. It's a free game, one of the best, one of the longest in the making, and it's about 2.5 gigabytes in size. If you could get past just a few bugs and some minor advertisement problems, we've got a new action RPG here to its credits. Ming Dynasty actually plays pretty well. Combat's reliable, responsive, and doesn't feel like it's fighting your thumbs. Nothing revolutionary, it's just a quick mention, but nothing embarrassing as well. Think of this as a Souls-like action RPG with a lot of ambition that's filled with the mobile MMO logic. Pretty fun now, potentially demanding later. It's 2 gigabytes online and definitely could use more polish. So look guys, if you've ever installed a Backrooms game expecting cheap creepiness and uninstalled it about 5 minutes later, level 94 is kind of better than that. Mostly because it actually understands pacing. It's got daytime calmness to the point of suspicion, and nighttime that absolutely punishes, bad timing with turning your flash on like you're an idiot. The sounds actually matter, light actually matters, hiding works until it doesn't, and the art leans surreal instead of edgy, definitely making it stand out from the rest. It's still Backrooms though, but it's that kind that goes a long way. In fact, this little bad boy actually has controller support. So, if you're this far into the list and let's say nothing has satisfied you, Dadish 4 probably will. I mean, there's a high chance, trust me. Unless you don't like watching ads, I mean, nobody does, of course, which there's a solution for that. It's a $7 one-time ad removal purchase. Or you can just, just sneak past that by turning off your Wi-Fi. If you've ever wondered what it's like to play as a kid in a veggie family, you can figure that one out right here. It's just classic Dadish, pixel-perfect retro visual, cheap tune soundtrack, which is amazing, honestly, and the kind of platforming that doesn't overcomplicate gaming with like little to no gimmicks. You know the feeling when a puzzle game is almost interesting, then hands you a gimmick that actually sticks a few minutes later? That's gotta be Find Joe, 2 of Us, which is, first of all, it's another Find Joe after the latest Lumen release, where you control 2 characters at once now, Joe and Sheriff Jones, and the game fully just commits to making that your problem. It's very Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons energy, just filtered through a sci-fi noir mystery about memory loops. No fluff, no over-explaining, just solid dual character puzzles that trust you to figure it out. Android only for now, but it's legit a fine few hours and fun around holidays. Going down to number 10, we have the game Warframe. This thing is on mobile, it's still giving Android players a shot hands-on beta testing. Closed beta is live, just sign up and flex when you have the chance. It's just 11 gigabytes of fast MMO third-person shooting goodness with parkour and enough loot to bury a small planet in there. I mean, of course, if you're an iPhone user, you already know the drill. It's been out on the Apple Store many months, but if you're an Android user, you can finally see why Warframe has been the mobile space ninja king for like over a decade. With that being said, War and Arms is actually a tactical first-person shooter where it drops you into these 5v5s where teamwork is by no means a suggestion. You pick an operator, of course, coordinate with friends, and either hold the line against the last order or join them in skirmishes. Gunplay is pretty crisp, movements responsive, matches are short enough to squeeze in between life moments. It's a mobile shooter that actually expects you to think. I don't know, you wanted a mobile first-person shooter that doesn't treat tactics as optional? Here you go. So on another neck of the show, we have MLB The Show, mobile baseball, letting you swing for the fences just whatever you are. Lots of collection and the option to build your team for real-time matches. Controls are easy enough to pick up but still let you feel the difference between a clean hit or a strikeout. Nothing groundbreaking with this one, but if you like baseball and want a mobile fix, it's pretty solid and straightforward fun to be at.
演他就能醒过来吧。
I'm not sure if there's anybody out there who needs to hear this right now, but that specific you just got lucky, because Paper Bride's next game, Lethal Bond, finally went out and came out of nowhere today. For those of you new here, just keep in mind that if you've ever kept playing a horror puzzle game at midnight, even though you knew it was a bad idea, you're familiar with that type of thrill, this is definitely for you. In fact, the new game actually sticks to what the series does best, which is slow burn, dread, folklore puzzles, and a story that's more tragic than scary until it suddenly is. Not really jump scares, you're basically here to piece together symbols and doomed relationships while the game slowly drags you deep in hell. If you've followed the series before, it's a no-brainer. If not, try it, why not? Going down to number 14, we have this platformer that kind of make your thumbs ache all the way back to 1987. So Eternal Castle is a game for anyone who actually remembers how frustrating and rewarding also platformers used to be. Here's the thing, this remastered version wears its influences on its sleeve, like Prince of Persia, Another World, a lot more. The animation, the pacing, the punishing environments, they all feel deliberate, not lazy with this game. Very challenging retro pixel dope here. Beautiful also in a way that modern platformers rarely even dare to be. It's a paid game though, about $6. A very couple of quick mentions here for Crunchyroll members. We've got here the game Umiro and another one called Block's Quest. Haven't played either one of them, but Umiro here is a puzzle game that's kind of built around dual character coordination, where like levels task you with navigating, unlocking, and teasing apart these fragments of protagonists that are basically their lost memories. Looks good and kind of a lot in the same vein as the Monument Valley. Another one is a 7-year-old PC game going by the name Block's Quest. Actually, it's not even 7 years old. It kind of goes all the way back to the Nintendo DS era, almost 20 years ago, but it's a $15 game that's free on the Crunchyroll, and if you're unfamiliar with it, it's basically a hybrid tower defense action RPG, and this specific new port actually features a streamlined version of the original campaign that's unlocking all sorts of new and different towers as you go along. Hopefully you do have a Crunchyroll's membership, otherwise moving on. Dawnmaker, on the other hand, is a city building game that actually feels like you're finally winning instead of just surviving. That makes sense. Look, there's just one problem. It's a premium $9 package. But, you know, if that doesn't bother your wallet, and Dawnmaker over here, you're on a smug-choked continent using these hex tiles and deck of cards to expand light and grow your city. So it's basically Frostpunk in reverse. Hopeful instead of hopeless, and yet every placement still matters. Simple premise, but satisfying if you like strategy that actually lets you see progress. I think I've actually mentioned this game before, but it was still in the making, so if you missed it, Sengorai is basically deck building meets Smackdown in a cursed Japanese-looking world where your only job is to survive long enough to purify this world. Look, the gameplay is you collect monsters, give them spells, and hit it across 5 different continents. So runs basically shuffle, which means events, bosses, and everything will never feel like 2 attempts are going to be the same. And as you can see, the combat is kind of a deck-based. On top of that, the retro visuals actually sell the mysticism of it. Proper roguelike for people who actually want to play, not pay. Quick update here. Blue Protocol finally goes live in Southeastern Asia region. On top of that, there's new rewards to help you settle in before the grind introduces itself. In fact, if you missed the original hype cycle, this is like a neat, clean little new entry point. Just do yourself a favor, don't pretend that it won't eventually ask for commitment down the road. Keep in mind, if you've ever installed a anime MMO knowing full well it might not respect your time, this is that moment again. Good game, 9 solid gigabytes of absolute beauty. If you already made it to number 20, dude, I gotta give you a like. If you did, however, I don't know, just go and drop something in the comments for me. I don't know, microphone? Something. Look, if you played enough roguelike games to roll your eyes the second food shows up as enemies, which is also pretty fair, Fast Food Wars is gonna be a weirdly honest type of roguelike in that specific little genre, which is this. You're basically a burger with a gun, shooting hot dogs and donuts inside a burger joint. No lore, no nonsense, just tight arcade run and shooting, slashing, dying, repeating. It's actually refreshingly free of ads, currencies, and psychological tricks. 1 free level, 1 payment to unlock the rest. Forgot to mention that before. Last but not least, just to leave this thing on a good foot here, I wanted to remind you that if you thought surviving Rust with a mouse and a keyboard was the challenge, well, now you can guess that again and try it in your pocket, because now you actually can. Since Rust Mobile is kicking off its first closed beta after hitting 1 million pre-registrations with a bunch of different modes for you to try and keep trying. The beta is going to be running until December 26th. Pre-registrations opened today. Just go and do that right now if you're already on the hype train. Now's a chance to test how portable misery really feels like. Thanks for watching. Really hope you enjoyed. See you again tomorrow.